in Banter or something like that. If the login
Big Shane in the sky.
Yeah,
it's
super
like
old.
very old login.
Big Shane.
You thought my head was small. Now look at the size of it.
Oh God.
I went outside once, but the graphics weren't that good.
There you go. Read it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Lap it up because you won't be able to read it next time.
That was brilliant.
You're tired?
That was.
Gone.
That's
Did I go off
surreal.
or somebody knocked me off.
Wait, if another person comes on there, what happens?
Admin? Yeah, there are.
Oh no!
Who's doing that? What's causing it?
What even is that?
It's probably Lean in another instance fucking with me or something.
Ah.
Right now.
How's it going, Steve?
Oh, good.
Allow me on the
That's
Google
good.
platform.
How
Yes.
about you?
The wrong way around.
Right? Was it? Did I get
Oh,
it right?
it's the two of us on here.
Owen
Nice.
has joined the space.
Oh.
Woo. I can come on like the very edge of frame, and I'm just a floating hand.
Wow. Welcome everybody. This is the Banter-Ama. God, there's a lot of people here this week. Bet it doesn't have anything to do with all the quests that we're giving away. Ba, ba, ba. But, it's good to see you nonetheless. I've seen a few people around in the last few days I haven't seen for a while, and honestly it's been great. I hope you guys stick around.
Tex West has joined the space.
This event, for any of you who are unaware, is
joined the space.
yeah, it's an AMA. You can ask us anything. Typically how we do it is you make your way down the beach and stand there just in front of that little display. And yeah, I'll megaphone you, and then everybody in this instance and any other will be able to hear you. And you can ask a question. Iron Wolf is going to jump in there. Congratulations to Iron Wolf. He won the first of our 2 Quest 2s that are being given away today. Congratulations. Iron Wolf, you are megaphone.
You said 2.
And you are attached. Did I say 2? Oh boy, that's it.
You did.
Jury's out.
Wait, it's Quest 2s?
That's right. This whole time, it's all been a joke. They're old
whole time.
secondhand, 64 gigabyte Quest 2s.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
Oh, no.
Iron Wolf?
Yeah, Shane told me a couple of days ago that I won the quest and I got the, shield down my spine, and I didn't understand what he was saying first. So yeah, that was really exciting. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah, no problem.
But
Congratulations.
thank you.
Gonna have to go now,
My
guys. See you around.
My question
See you,
is, when we're doing the tutorials with Aline and Des and so on, can we have a screen recording instead of someone filming inside the instance? Is that possible?
That's a good idea, potentially, right? We'd probably have to record that at source. Aline, what would you think about that?
Nice and clean.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
An alternative is we could stream it over Discord simultaneously, and then somebody else could record on their end. But yeah, I'm sure we can figure
Still want
something
the voices.
something out there to try and get that working. Yeah, we obviously want to try and make sure we can get the right audio set up there to include Aline talking, everybody else talking, anybody asking questions, that kind of
And the
stuff. But I'm
questions,
sure we
yeah.
can figure that out.
Yeah,
For sure. Good
Thank you.
idea. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm gonna just call on. We're doing this thing lately where sometimes we'll do like a hot take, right? Which is what I love. It's instead of me just waffling on for ever and ever, which I can do, by the way. I can just sit here and keep
Static
going.
Thread
Like right
has
now,
joined the
I'll just go
space.
off into a tangent on that sentence, and I won't stop. Like I'll keep going for ages and ages and ages, and you'll be wondering, is he going to go back to that sentence yet? Is he going to go back now? Has he already forgotten about that sentence? Does he even know where he came from? No idea. But hot takes, we like to do hot takes, and basically we call on people at random and get them to say things rather than wait for people to walk up the beach and for me to call them out, which is great fun because I get to put somebody on the spot and see how they react, right? Sometimes
Dusty isn't it has
people
joined the
can tend to squirm.
space.
Okay, it's the elephant in the room. This pizza here looks great. Pizza, your megaphone, talk to us. What's it like being a pizza?
that sounds about right.
Hey, pizza is mute. Kelly.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Just
thought I had
joined.
already changed my avatar. That's what I was working on. So apparently I'm still
Oh.
a pizza. Hello, everyone.
Hey,
You
Callie.
look delicious.
Hi.
You do.
Um, hot take. I hope Nico will be creating spaces in here.
Oh,
I'm a
Bob
fan of
Woods has
him,
joined
and
the space.
Matty Boy as
Nico
well.
from Alt Space.
Yes, that's his
Matty Boy as well. I think
Nice. I hope
that's
so
what I
too.
have.
That's a hot take. Anybody any thoughts on that? Anybody want to add that? Maybe somebody wants to say, "Who's Nico?" Right? Or somebody wants to say, "I know Nico." No,
I
no
know
one.
Nico.
Good.
Yeah,
There you go. There you
Nico
go.
from Alt Space.
I know
And
Nico
That's
too.
right.
Nico
from Alt
There you
Space.
go. That's 2
The
for
solar
2. That's
system
3.
world.
Solar system. There we go. That's it. Blended textures, all sorts of mad stuff.
How about Shushu and Holodrome?
Yeah.
Shoo-shoo.
Wow, this hot
Yep.
take is taking on a life of its own. This is great.
Does anybody know
I
where
agree.
Shushu is?
In line, 3-Eye Tiger.
He's a VR chat
VR
stuff.
Yeah.
chat.
Yes.
We're
Shushu's in
They're
VR
just kind
chat.
of waiting
Yeah.
for our SDK too. I know that.
we'll get them, guys, eventually, right?
Mhm.
Field of Dreams. If we build it, they will come.
Rejoice
That's how
for
it
your
works.
robot
Hey, 3 Tiger,
overlord
sorry
Ghost
for the
Droid
delay.
has
My
joined the
apologies. You are
space.
now live to the room. Go ahead.
That's okay. That was funny. As a relatively new builder to the, as a new builder to the platform, what are the best sort of community resources and walkthroughs and tutorials? Where's the best place to get started with that sort of stuff? And, like YouTube or any websites, blogs?
Good question.
Sure, definitely. Well, first of all, we have an event actually just after this. We do it once a week. It's called Space Makers. You might like that because it's all about that basically. But there's 2 really good places I would direct you to. First of all, the Discord, discord.gg/Banterverse, or the main website, BanterVR.com, which you can also find the Discord there. So maybe if you wanna remember one address tonight, let it be that one. But yeah, on there you'll find all documentation on our current SDK and how you can build worlds. It'll show you how to get started. There's a 3-step process to make a space, which will get you to a point where you're in VR in your own world that you can make changes to. And then, yeah, you can make yourself a mod in your world. And then from there, the sky is the limit. Full heads up, we are about to deploy version 2 of our new SDK. We're super excited about the potential that it opens up. But it will be backwards compatible with our existing SDK, so anything you build today will continue to work with it.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Sweet.
Hey, Scorpio, how you doing?
Oh, thank you. Hello, everybody. I have 2 questions. The first one is, how difficult is it to put an already complete world that's sitting on a hard drive, Unity based, to bring it in with water and fire, and everything is already done?
Wow. Well, it depends. I guess there can always be some complications, right? It's hard to say for sure how that might go. But if it's Unity based and it's maybe a recent-ish version of Unity, then chances are that you might be able to grab our plugin from our website, load it in, and follow the extra instructions to install a couple extra packages, and then click build, right? Our workflows are kind of similar, I guess, to probably a number of other apps like VR Chat or Spatial or yeah. So yeah, I mean, best place is if you've got any issues is to jump into our Discord, right? There's plenty of people, including all of our staff, who'll be more than happy to help out if you run into any problems.
Yes, my actual question is, do we need permission or we just go and just go to the website, upload it, and publish it and live in it? Is it that simple? If there's no
Wow.
issues with the actual template?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. How can I?
Because other platforms, they want you to give the package to them, and then they
Yes, I
want to
understand.
upload it and all that. And
understand.
I have 20 properties that I want to be able to enjoy that are just sitting on a hard drive from AltSpace.
Gotcha.
So I'm just trying to see when I have my builder come, like, how easy is it? It's just him putting it in here, making some adjustments, and then boom, pow. I don't need any permission from you guys. You guys don't need to give an okay about it, and I can just live in it, just like AltSpace.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, in short, yeah, that sounds perfectly fine. I mean, as far as we're concerned, worlds can be hosted on our servers, on other servers. Most worlds are actually on other servers like this one, so you can actually put your own worlds onto your own servers if you didn't want it to be a package that we hold on to or that we upload, let's say. And we also will always have an option in the menu to just go to a world address. So there will always be a way to find a world. Now, honestly, chances are there's a good chance that if your world is just one of the older worlds from AltSpace, that we may even be interested in featuring it, depending on what it is, right? But maybe it can help to explain that at its core, I guess, Banter is kind of like a web browser. Every space you go to is a web address. So you can kind of think of it in that way and think of it in that sense. And when it comes to, how we might think about our involvement or our position in all of this, we might often sort of defer to what the other browsers kind of do, right? Which, I'll be honest, usually means staying out of it and letting people access what they want to do and use their stuff for what they want to use it for.
Awesome.
Okay, second question. Sorry, guys. Second question. I've been doing my mental health check-in in the metaverse for 3 years. I would like to do it here. I'm currently over at Big Screen and Horizon. I would like to do it here and put up an event. My question is there an audience? I know it's possible, especially with self-publishing for an event in a couple weeks, but is it possible? Like, do you guys have the people that might be interested? I don't know the community here, so I don't.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
It's a great question. I tend to think that VR really is a great, useful tool for people who struggle in almost any sense in the real world. But in short, yeah, Sunday nights we have a lineup of support group events, neuro chat, all sorts of different things that kind of cater for people who want to just get together and talk about things, right? So I'd say, yeah, definitely, you've probably got an audience.
Well, that's good.
On here for people.
I knew that
Okay.
voice sounded familiar. What's up, VR Scorpio?
Hi.
Oh no, you've been recognized.
Scorpio.
You've been recognized from
Oh my
another
God. Hi, Faye.
platform. Steve, I'm assuming you're in line. You've got a question to ask. By the way, Scorpio, great questions. Thank you so much. If you do need any help, Faye coordinates all of our events. Any help you need, reach out. We can help you out. Oh, Steve didn't mean to be there, and he's backed away.
No, I didn't mean to. I put my headset down and just listened to the audio, and it moved itself. Am I framed?
Have we got Bob here? Is Bob in the house?
Where is
We got
Bob?
Bob in the house? Bob is up there? Maybe?
I haven't seen him.
Maybe Bob would like to jump down here? Maybe Bob would like to jump down here? Maybe but just before Dusty asks this question, maybe Bob would like to jump up here and join me.
has joined the space.
Yeah, Nico, you should
Join
We
me
have a Nico
on
here.
on the stage.
Yeah.
So Dusty, I'm gonna completely
Hello.
throw you here, and I'm gonna stop you from asking your question. I'm gonna let you ask it in just a moment, but first of all, I'd like Bob to tell you something.
Oh boy. Okay, so as you've probably already heard earlier today, guys, from the Discord, we've had our previous winner announced, and that was Iron Wolf. But we've also got another winner.
swear to God,
Well
that
done
wasn't
there,
planned.
Dusty.
He full on just walked. He just was a legit reaction you just see there. 100%.
That was great.
I
That
have a
was great.
question.
Perfect, Shane.
Oh,
Shane.
he deserves it though. His
Right, that worked. That worked really well. Now, here's the important part. The really important part, Dusty. What was your question?
Where'd he go?
Where is Dusty?
I think he crashed.
He got so excited.
Yeah, he
Actually,
really
Bob
needed
picked
that
you.
three.
Wasn't me. Bob picked you.
Megaphone him.
Yeah, he exploded with excitement. I danced.
Yeah, you can say you got a question.
We can.
Would this work?
I have a question about just
While
moderation.
Dusty calms down, I'll announce the other winners while everybody's here, right? I'll do that quickly.
Woo!
So
We've got
we had
some
another quick
Christmas
giveaway
jumpers.
where you could win some nice Banter sweatshirts with our favourite mascot on it, the old goat. So I'll just announce the winners quickly, and then you can finish your question. I'll get you away there, Dusty, all right?
Wait a second, Bob. Would you mind re-announcing Dusty's win? Just like he disconnected from the stream.
No worries.
When he was
Okay, so we're
streaming.
doing like a
We'd like to capture.
Okay, everybody. Okay, guys. We need to do this, right? We need to make it look real. This needs to look legit.
What?
Okay, everybody needs to
like a
really
TV
put
show
their
now,
heart
we need to
into
do
this.
a beat
Okay,
shot.
Dusty, you especially. Okay, Iron Wolf, we're going to pretend yours is real, is unreal as well again. Okay, let's do it, Bob. You ready? Whatever, you know, AMA kind of nonsense something or whatever,
Shane,
something.
yeah.
Oh, look, it's a Bob.
He says walk off and on the platform because it's not.
Hey guys, I
Oh,
thought
it's
it'd be
okay.
good to
That always
announce
happens.
the
It's
latest
the
winner
AMA.
of our giveaway for the Crest
Dustington.
3. We've already announced Iron Wolf. Congratulations. Blah 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 blah. Dusty, look at you. You're the winner.
Everybody, come on, all of you, let's go. Yay, everybody, yay. Do it, pretend like it's real. Come on, we all do it. This is not fake. Not
Wow,
fake.
look at that original.
This is not fake.
What did you win?
Beautiful.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I'll just do the sweaters quickly. Okay, we've got the free extra winners. Okay, so first of all, it was a staff choice between us all, so we just decided Daryl, I think, should win one as one of the selections there. We did two extra ones as well as random selections. So the first selection was Vindello.
Local has joined the space.
So you've all got a nice limited edition Goatsy sweater. So,
Oh my God,
good luck on that. And there goes your platform, Shane.
Woo! Now, Dusty,
nice.
ask your question. Come on, kick it. Let's go. Come
Okay,
on.
I'm gonna ask the question.
I don't hear you.
So I've been watching some of the previous streams of the Banter AMAs, and you guys talked about you guys talked about support for Android phones and many other platforms. I was gonna ask when is that is it coming with the SDK, or is that gonna be planned for a future date?
I mean, it's a good question. I think the biggest platform that we're kind of focused on right now is mobile, right? You know, once we kind of polish the base foundation of what we've got, the main blocker right now for us being able to roll out a mobile
it's okay.
app
I just wanted to say
is
hello.
mainly the user interface.
But thank you.
So yeah, basically we're in the process of Dude, sitting here Shizeki over there.
Where?
Shizeki's freaking out. Sorry, Dusty. I'm totally, completely distracted. Remind me, what was the question again?
That's okay. We're waffling.
That's fine.
Shit.
What was the question again?
Android.
The question was
Android. We want to redo the menu, basically. We want to redo the menu UI and have a responsive UI that can go up and down in size and still allow you to access all of the parts in it. We want to be able to use that UI in-game to have like a small menu, like a small form factor menu that you can have, and maybe a larger menu. But we also want that to be able to work on the smartphone so that you have a mobile responsive menu on there too. So right now, the menu overhaul that we're well on the way to is kind of blocking us being able to roll out a mobile app. I mean, right now we're kind of we're sort of tooling up, if you will, right? We're trying to take on board a lot of the feedback we've seen across Steam and across our Discord, and trying to get things polished and trying to kind of ramp up for bringing Banter out of beta this year, right? That's the plan. We don't want to sit in early access forever. We'd like to plan to actually launch Banter out of beta. So overhauling the menu, rebuilding the core SDK, the new avatar overhaul that's going to come pretty soon after that as well. All of these are kind of the core pillars, let's say, of our run up to a launch out of beta this year on Banter. So yeah, mobile is definitely coming this year. I would estimate maybe hopefully within the next 6 months.
Dylan999 has joined the space.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you so much.
Any other platforms? I mean, there's multiple members of my team who are aggressively trying to get Banter working on Apple Vision Pro, which they have managed to get it working, and for the most part have worked out any of the largest logistical problems involved in porting to that. So there's that. And honestly,
no controllers.
There's a lot of problems to address there for sure. Interaction and hand tracking being one of the bigger ones. But yeah, that's another platform. Just to follow on from Dusty's question. I mean, I think other than that, I mean, what are we missing? Any other platforms? I'm not sure if there's. I mean, we've got PC VR, we've got 2D pancake mode, we've got standalone on Quest and Pico. There's maybe a couple more headsets. Console might be difficult. Honestly, might be difficult. If we're talking PlayStation and PSVR, PSVR generally don't allow user-created content, which, believe it or not, is a pretty big deal around here. So console could be difficult for that reason, right? That's why Rec Room won't be there. That's why VR Chat won't be there. That's unfortunately the nature of the situation. Son of a Joker, are you wanting to ask a question?
Yes. Indeed. Oh, my bad. Ah!
That'll happen.
I forget about the grappling hooks.
Sorry, maybe you're right. Rec Room, actually, what was it? That they aren't going to be on PSVR 2? Is that what I was reading recently? Sorry, I must have...
They are on there.
No, they're on
PSVR 2.
PlayStation, but it's not worth it to put it on PSVR 2 at the moment.
Right.
To port it.
Yeah, I read that article recently, right? That was just a recent thing. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it is flat
Go ahead.
screen.
So I have a big question.
Okay.
So as you know, I came from a different platform, and the things that I've seen that have been done, what is y'all's vision for designing a city, like an actual city that connects all the creators' worlds that are featured and that will soon to be featured into a beautiful city? What is y'all plans on that?
Wow. Well, that sounds amazing. And honestly, it's the first I've heard that we're building a city.
Well,
it sounds like a kind of an interesting approach to like how portaling could work, right? That maybe every time you leave a space, you kind of go into a wide open world kind of environment, and individual spaces are then like separate private worlds, basically, right?
Yes. So like, as you know, I came from Horizon Worlds, and the biggest thing that I enjoyed was the City of Adam. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is the first city in Horizons, and it's one of the things that I even got to help a little bit to develop the residential area by designing like homes and to build the home district for. Is that something that you would want to think about for future reference, to so people can go and hang out like in an area like that has like restaurants and like Banter Court or Club Atlas, or even here which I always forget the name, which this place is called.
Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake, thank you. Oh, and yeah, and the back rooms as well have a funny design building for the back rooms.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's hard to know where the line is in terms of, you know, what the platform should do and how opinionated we should be about trying to do things at a platform level, and how much of that should really be, you know, us trying to support a creator ecosystem and creators potentially creating these kinds of connections and worlds. I mean, everything you're describing sounds amazing to me. It sounds like a great way to be able to promote a lot of existing worlds, a great way to kind of you know, simulate some of the things that we find familiar in real life, and to be able to do that in VR. And often that, for whatever reason, seems to be pretty magical. We're taking a more sort of a more I guess it's hard to explain. We're changing how the loading screen is working right now, where your loading screen becomes almost like a persistent space you can move around in. So as you travel from space to space, you'll feel like you're inside of a pod while you're moving between spaces, kind of, right? And in the future, you're going to be able to see your own avatar. You're going to be able to access your menu in this space while you're waiting, stuff like that. This doesn't necessarily relate to your question about us building a city, let's say, but it's just to demonstrate how we're thinking about how worlds can be connected together in different ways. There's a great video on our Discord in the announcements channel. I don't know if you've seen it, that shows that new type of portaling system I'm talking about.
Hey, Shane, can I say something about the city he's talking about? What it has actually is, when you start out in one part of the world, you can actually see the other part of the city before you even walk through the portal to go into the other part of it.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's the amazing thing about Golden Hands and his creations. He's a master. He is a master when it comes to building and creating. So,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's something you just have to see to and experience it to understand it. But hell, I had a question. I don't even remember where it was now. I'll get back to you.
That's okay. That's cool. Feel free to jump in again if you can think of it. But appreciate your thoughts, and that definitely sounds interesting. Yeah, for sure. Iron Wolf, are you in the queue? I just noticed, or is Jessica? Yeah,
Yes,
sorry. Go ahead,
yes.
Jessica. If you want to join the end of the queue, there's a couple people in the line. Go ahead, Iron
I'm
Wolf.
I'm just spitballing here. I don't know.
Hey, what do you think about that
Thought off my top of my head. Is there any plans to have an SDK for Banter as well? Blender, I mean.
For Blender, that's interesting. Where's Aline? I usually like to defer these kind of questions to Aline. I don't immediately see her. I'm wondering what something like that would, you know, what shape that might take, right? And what exactly it might do. And Aline's back. I'm going to go ahead.
You wouldn't need it. You would just need the FBX exported into Unity, really.
Or a GLB,
really, and that's
right? Because
yeah.
Banter already supports GLBs, and that's a pretty common format now with Blender. But sorry, go ahead, Aline. Do you have any thoughts on that?
What was the question?
Do you think Banter would ever create a plugin for Blender?
A plugin. I mean, Banter is browser-based. You can just load GLB files. Blender can export GLB files. So there is already kind of a plugin. Maybe you want something that exports and uploads directly to a server and loads those files into a space. Maybe
I don't
that
know. I
could
was
be
just
interesting to explore those possibilities.
You're getting those brain juices flowing there, Iron Wolf. You know, it's definitely an interesting question. It's definitely something we haven't considered ourselves. So that's really interesting. Thanks. Jessup is pushing his way in the queue here. He's eager to get up front. Go ahead,
no, it's
Jessup. What
okay.
can I do
For
for you?
like the
I'll let him go
pods, for like the moving around when you're loading into spaces, could you like customize the space, the loading screen thing for like each space? So like you could be in like a drop pod if you're going to like a spaceship map or something.
Interesting. Potentially in future, we have already experimented with a shader that's able to customize the color in the loading screen. We were thinking of making that maybe a color that's themed on the space and the world that you're going to, maybe, you know, one that's been set by the custom creator, maybe your own soul color, right? Everybody gets their own color loading screen, who knows? And yes, all of these customizations will be covered under our Banter Plus plan, which is launching in 2025. It's going to be $9.99 a month. You're going to get nothing. It's going to be complete bullshit. You're going to love it. Thank you, Jessica.
Great question, Jessup. Great question.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's it.
Sarumi, you are live. Go ahead. And thanks for the friend request.
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone. I've just got a quick question about, I guess it is kind of a community question, so I don't know if this will be referred to Faye. Hi Faye. Good to see you. But I was just wondering about kind of keeping it I guess 13 plus app. How will we manage that when, you know, children and young people want to come in here? How do we keep it essentially that kind of I don't know. I don't really
Child-proof.
feel yeah, essentially keeping children safe, keeping
Keep
it
the trolls away.
yeah, in many ways just keeping it a safe space
Yes.
for everyone.
I think I could probably speak for most of the people in this room who feel like at some point or another they've been in some game or app or lobby or something in virtual reality and been inundated with you know, I don't know what they call them, a gang of kids, basically, right? We know what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's obscene.
Yes.
It's something we thought about a lot. You know, between me and the rest of my team, there's actually a huge amount of knowledge, right? Faye works with us as our community manager and has been in the industry probably longer than most anybody in VR, right? And has a load of experience across Altspace, Microsoft, Meta, Rec Room, in exactly this kind of sort of thing. But I mean, to answer your question specifically, there is no one answer to that kind of a problem, unfortunately. But I think there are a number of tools and services that we can kind of build out that can help with that. I think the first step for us anyway is kind of being clear about our message and, you know, what audience we're trying to cater for and appeal to, let's say, right? And I guess what I mean by that is, you know, certain design choices about the app, design choices about how we present the app, put across that we're more interested, at least as it stands, in catering to an adult audience, right? We don't call it an adult app, right? Because we don't want people to think it's a pornographic app or something.
Sure.
But we do, you know, we have avatars that have more appropriate proportions. Well, usually they do. Mine's a bit crazy, but you know, we won't talk about that. But you know, at least we don't have those ones that have, you know, the typical thing with a lot of social VR apps is very large heads, very large eyeballs, right? You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff.
the anime
Toker,
type
not
thing.
talking about you. Not talking about you at all. Or Lee. Look at Lee trying to hide there in the background. What are you doing over there? But I think the point I'm trying to say is that what you end up with is a lot of these, they look like very juvenile, cartoonish sort of avatars wearing like adult clothing often, right? And then there's so many platforms out there like Altspace, Big Screen, Rec Room, you know, Horizon Worlds. All of these platforms to some degree are guilty of this, I think, of having this slightly oversized head and that slightly Disney-ish kind of look to their avatars. I really do appreciate the proportions of Ready Player Me, in fact, so much that I just squished my head down even further just to make a point, because I knew you were going to ask this question. But
I do
wonder
love
if
the
you could-
avatars in side quests.
Instead of banning somebody, you could, you know, push them to another instance, like the child's table instance.
Yes.
Mm.
Well,
Like
so
they
this
offended
is
something
the
and they
long-term
don't get
plan
thrown
then,
out.
right? So there's a number of things that we can explore doing, and there's a number of things that we can even experiment with on into the future. We have a great benefit in our position as a platform at SideQuest, because we already have this user system. We already have, you know, at least some sort of age gating system, so that you know, we're compliant with parental consent in every country that we can be, as much as we can possibly comply. But as things go on into the future, that gives us a kind of an overarching position to maybe provide possibly some kind of verification process where maybe adults could verify themselves, so that you could then, you know, access areas that are designated adult only, that kind of thing.
That'd be great.
But there could also be a number of other things that you could do in game, in app, right? In terms of, I mean, God knows, you could combine a multimodal approach, take things like people's arm lengths, heights, pitch of your voice,
I've seen
various
that being
different
done before.
things, and start to make an estimation, start to build it into a scoring system, you know, start to use that to potentially flag some accounts for review, and then bring in some humans to kind of review that and see what should be done. Now, you're always going to find, right? I mean, there's always going to be examples of people who are going to fit that criteria, who are perfectly of age and perfectly allowed to, and you just, you know, you maybe have that verification method then after that to fall back on, and that could be as simple as maybe just a quick webcam in your browser, look a few different directions, okay, your age is verified, right up to upload a copy of your passport, and we'll do that for you. Probably all of this would be a third party, right? We don't want anybody's passports. We're not interested
for sure.
in your passports.
Yeah, but instead of banning people, I mean, putting them in another instance where they can't bother anybody else, but they see the artwork.
Well, ultimately, yes. I mean, matchmaking is what this could effectively, you know, feed into, right? About sort of creating a safe space that's there for them, you know, using an algorithm to move people more towards that space that's appropriate, and keep others in their own spaces that aren't, right? So you're right, absolutely.
Oh, and another
Thank you.
Kind
It's
of now I'm
great to
getting
know
my
that it's
foot in
been
my
thought
mouth.
about.
I was going to say
Sorry.
the alt space group. I've still got a sore spot that Jim's alt space, ex alt spacers that got like 40, 50 people, that they won't peek in here because of old bullshit. Anywhere to heal wounds with strange ex alt spacers and get more people in here.
I'm an ex-alt spacer, and I already love this app because I think it's got
No,
so
Shane
much
knows what I
potential.
mean.
We're all ex-alt spacers, right?
Yeah.
Everybody remembers. Remember when they used to have these avatars and they looked
Oh,
weird like
oh
this?
boy.
Yeah,
The robot.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely what we're going for, right? I would prefer to have a place first and foremost where I can have fun and not have to deal with screeching kids spewing obscenities
I just
all over the place.
don't want to do the day job when I'm trying to relax.
Yeah. Well, I'll put this out. You know, my advice to anybody here, you know, typically if you do encounter somebody on the platform, you believe that they're underage and they shouldn't be here, then in the meantime, our current approach to this, while we're kind of this size, is that if you can grab a quick video, if you're on Quest, you press and hold the Oculus and press and hold your right trigger, and that will start a video recording. If you can throw that to us on Discord, we'll be more than happy to take action. What we often like to do is to see that somebody can admit, you know, if it's borderline and you're not sure, if you can get them to admit their age. And full disclosure, right, this is our tactic, this is our trick, this is how we do it. Hey, how are you doing? You know, you've got to be 10 years old to be on this platform. Are you at least 10 years old? No, I'm 11. Gotcha. Boom, bang, dead. And when we ban them, the electricity comes down. Bang.
Yep.
Oops.
Pow. Thor's hammer.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was all for effect. Where's Maxi? I hear Maxi out there somewhere. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Sarami.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. That was really a really thorough kind of thought process there. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Kurt.
Hey,
how are you doing?
how you
You
doing?
live?
Good. Question for you. In this space, it drives me nuts, and it's happening for a long time now. But I'll be sitting in a seat, or I'm standing here, and I keep drifting a little forward, and I'm not doing anything. I have my controllers down on the ground and stuff, and I keep drifting. I didn't know what's doing that. Is that just because there's some physics thing that's pushing me forward every bit slowly, or
Yeah, basically that's it. If you've ever seen a guest, if there's any around here, the guest is actually a good visual representation of how the locomotion system works. The ball that's at the feet of the guest that moves around, we all have that ball. It's just invisible for most of us. And that's how you move around. It unfortunately means that when you're on a slightly slanted surface, there is a chance that your ball might roll. And it's something that we can tweak and try to improve on in the future. And I think what we're also planning on doing, because I know sometimes people want to be able to just stand still and maybe not get pushed into a portal. I mean, I don't know, be a bit
Set the push value to
but
100%.
maybe something like lock me or whatever, or anchor me or something like that in the menu, so that you can just lock yourself in. Nobody can push you around. You won't drift, all that kind of stuff, right? The functionality actually already exists, but you need to be able to inject it into the debugger to be able to do it. Let's say Spaces can use it, but we'll adapt that to a personal user level comfort setting in the future too.
Great, thank you.
In the meantime, just try and find as flat a surface as you can. There is a threshold. Oh, Maxi. Go ahead. Are you going to talk to the room? You're on megaphone. Oh, God. Is there a Banter performance tower where players can turn on all specific features like on the client to boost performance? Maybe. Oh, God, it's gone. Oh, it's off the screen. Great. Quality. Maybe add more quality to specific parts, like higher textures but lower geometry. Higher geometry but lower default avatars. Turn on and off physics objects. Change geometry, calling distance, and sound dimension. Improvements like changing sound volume based on distance or turning off sounds that are made by spaces, like the waves splashing on Slipstream Island. Okay, so we got to the root of your problem then. You hate the sound of the waves on Slipstream Island. Why don't you just come out and say it, Maxi? What are you got to go through all this nonsense for, huh? Yeah, I mean, in short, I think there's going to be a combo of things, really, right? I think there's going to be a certain level or dimension of sound that we can kind of map out in like a global sound control system, let's say, right? Where maybe you might be able to control like master volume on voices, master volume on, let's say, environments, master volume on, if we can pull it off the browser or the music players, that kind of thing. And, whatever dimensions we can figure out there that makes sense. There may also be some of that stuff that fits better into the world itself for them to decide what is or isn't a thing, right? And when it comes to deciding whether or not you've got higher or lower fidelity geometry, often that involves the creator of the world heavily to be able to make a decision like that, as well as textures, right? Maybe there's some stuff we can do with textures, but it's often a trade-off, and there's only so much you can really get out of standalone hardware when you're trying to change a lot and generate a lot of that stuff on the fly at runtime. But yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, we hope to not only provide global settings in the menu, many of which are coming in this new menu overhaul that we're working on, but also we're going to hopefully provide templates, examples, samples for space creators to put UIs into their spaces, and for them to be able to use those to provide space level comfort options, right? So they can turn off and on physical objects, they can turn off and on graphical settings, they can, reduce whatever is needed there. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. As regards the Slipstream Island, never. It will always be that volume. It will get louder slowly the longer you stay there. Thank you. Appreciate that one, Maxi. Tex. What can I do?
I remember my question. Okay. Does Banter have any kind of haptic interaction at all? Like is it possible to if I put on a haptic V-vest or something and interact with any of the games or any of the parkour challenges and stuff like that, would I be able to feel it if I have the haptic gloves on, like if I'm trying to pull myself up over a ledge or whatever?
Yes, I'm with you. Currently, in short, no, we don't. There's obviously a number of options out there. Often I worry about trying to integrate some of these things before there's like a standardized software SDK to do so, because it can be quite risky, right? We don't know if they're going to exist in a couple of years. A number of things that were on Kickstarter a few years ago now just basically don't exist, right? Deck of Gear, looking at you. But yeah, in a nutshell, I would love to be able to support more devices like that. And in the future, if either a device becomes more mainstream popular, maybe like the B-Haptics, it's got, you know, certainly a number of games that have integrated it. So I would possibly consider it as a standalone integration. But hopefully in the future, some kind of centralized standard that makes it easier to integrate this stuff is, I think, what a lot of developers would love to see.
Right. Because I ordered it was about $500 from Best Buy, and it's a B-Haptic vest, and I'm waiting on that to come in now, and I'm kind of nervous to use it because I don't want it to, you know what I mean? Like if, say for instance, I get shot in a game or something, next thing you know, like
you die in real life.
Not not exactly, but like like say for instance, like the temperature the temperature will probably rise on it, I'm sure, but I don't want it to like be to the point to where it's like, you know what I mean, 180 degrees, it just touches your skin, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I was curious about.
That sounds incredible. So it heats up. I didn't realize. I thought it was just
well, that's just like
motors.
It's just for like example or something. Like they have temperature change in them.
Right.
Like the vibration. The gloves that they're working on now. I don't know if you've heard of them, but say for instance you have like a wooden block. Whoop.
Oh
crap. Sorry. Say for instance you have a wooden block, right? And you grab it. Well, the glove, what it will actually feel like is a wooden block. And then say for instance an ice cube, you grab it, it'll feel cold and like kind of wet also. So that's what they're working on now. But
that sounds crazy. That's like some sort of 7D kind of stuff, isn't it?
I mean, it's definitely something that's definitely beta for sure. It's definitely beta that they're still working on. It's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars when it's finally released, but
yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy, and I think that's kind of what it is, right? It sounds like the sort of thing that you might use for it's research grade potentially, right? Because it sounds interesting, but I wonder how many practical applications there are of having ice cubes in games that you can pick up, and how much of that you can work into gamification. But it's definitely interesting. I mean, there's so many interesting things right now. What I love, and like I said before, you know, when it gets to the stage where we've got some kind of common standard that can that we can integrate these with, right? Like I don't know, somebody linked to me, Rocket linked to me. I don't know if he's here the other day to toe tracking, right? Actual toe tracking, individual toe tracking. Well, more sort of your big toe, and then the rest of your toes are kind of tracked as one object. But you can do this using a standardized interface now on VR chat, right? Using OSC, that standard protocol for devices that they've got for synchronizing devices. So something like that's great, and it's what we plan to support here in Banter as well, to be able to you know, use body tracking, various other tracking devices, God knows what, for people to be able to experiment with, because those standards, right, perfect. And you take you know, another big player that adopts that standard, it becomes the gold standard, right? So that's what we need for the likes of haptic vests, stuff like that. OpenXR, right? That's another thing that's obviously hoovering up a lot of these things. So
that's what I wanted to ask you when I got back in line was augmented reality. Do y'all have any plans to do anything with that?
With augmented reality? Well,
mixed reality.
We for a number of months last year, actually, we did a dinner night every Sunday night where everybody would get together and we'd have a table, but everybody was sitting in their own individual kitchens, right? And everybody would sit around the table and have dinner together, but you're all in your own kitchen and you've got everybody's avatar in your kitchen sitting around the table with you. So that's one thing that we did with mixed reality. Like I say, my team is working hard to try and figure out how to make Banter work on the Vision Pro. It seems heavily sort of leaning towards augmented reality rather than, you know, virtual reality. But so I'm sure there could be some stuff there. Yeah. I mean, I think leveraging pass-through, right? Because that's kind of where we're at right now with the technology, and that's what we
Yes.
have, pass-through, and being able to use pass-through. Maybe you could have a special pass-through shader you could put on your skybox, or have a cube that moves around and you can see into your real world through the cube or whatever. Those are
Right.
definitely things that we could explore. I mean, once again, it's a standards thing. You know, it's like pass-throughs there. OpenXR is evolving, and it would be great to see more support from vendors for pass-through and OpenXR, right? Outside of a less mainstream third-party extension.
Well, I mean, another interesting thing would be like y'all have the world where it's kind of like a Google Maps 360 view, right? That y'all have.
Yes.
Imagine actually being in your avatar form and being able to type in your address and actually just walk down like that Google Map style world, and it's just so smooth and transitions so well. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, I think at some point all that massive data that they collected for Street View all over the world will merge with a massive AI that's able to make sense of all the noise
Oh
and rubbish
man.
in it, and you'll have something like that, right? Something that's procedural, can dynamically generate real places on the planet or whatever. We were actually going to maybe say if we could make that one into a one that you could actually just walk around on, right? That you might be able to jump down and it would load up new photospheres that are nearby as you get closer to them and stuff. That was something we actually experimented with, but yeah,
Right
I'm
on.
just yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
I keep hitting the wrong button.
Thank you, Tex. Tokra, I don't know if you were hovering around there for a bit. Did you have a question? I don't know if you were next in line or. And you're muted, maybe? Oh, you're communicating through.
Can you hear me now? Yeah?
Yeah, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you
me
now, yeah.
Okay. I had to switch to Steam Link. This is why actually it didn't work, because I had my microphone there, to the virtual desktop. And I switched to Steam Link because I can't actually use virtual desktop at this moment at all. It's because there's a lot of people here, and I noticed this for such a long time now. Like, it's been a month, even like 2 months, I think. And I kept blaming it on virtual desktop, but I tried other VR games, even more demanding ones, and they're okay. So what happens is, like, when I move my head, just move my head, it stutters a lot. Sometimes right now it was unusable, so I had to use Steam Link. And I know this is like a virtual desktop specific probably thing, but it works with other, even if they're more demanding at this point, it actually doesn't stutter at all. So I was wondering if you can maybe look into this and see if there is some incompatibility, something that I can like figure it out, because it's like really bugging me out, because I don't like Steam Link because it's foveated, and Pancake lenses with foveated is like
Use Airlink.
Yeah, no, certainly.
I could try
We
a
could
link.
definitely. We could certainly look into that. My gut says it could be down to something to do with the fact that we use OpenXR as kind of a core basis for the game here. I guess not every game would do that. In fact, not many games are doing that yet. I don't think, right? I think a lot of games just specifically build with, with Steamworks or with Oculus plugin integration directly, not necessarily trying to build with that open standard. You've got a really interesting combination of equipment and setup, Tokra. So, I mean, I think that there's definitely an opportunity for us to exercise these options a little bit and see if we can't find a way. Maybe we could also experiment with some other people, get some more feedback on how virtual desktop has been working for them, because maybe there is a setting somewhere, right, that can help. Maybe it's even outside of Banter itself.
Yes.
But yeah, we can certainly look into this, right? I definitely want to see if we can get that working for you, because I would want people to be able to use virtual desktop. I think it's the best the best software out there at what it does, so I definitely want people to be able to use that. It is a bit of a it's a bit of a web of support right now, mainly because of the crossover with apps like virtual desktop and ALVR and now Steam Link and God knows how many more in future. But yeah, sometimes they make these devices show up as other devices, and then they release an update and change what device it shows up as, and then everything goes to shit. But you know, we've got OpenXR, so it should be universally compatible and it should always just work, right? But yeah, I guess in practice, it's not quite as flexible as that. But no, we're still eager to try and figure this out, right? And as it stands, right now, we're kind of working through every variation that we can get our hands on, either by having the devices ourselves or working with community members who have the hardware as well. So
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
let's follow up after this, Tokra, right? See if we
I
can
appreciate your
find
help
out
with the
something to
Vario
do.
headset. Yeah, you're getting that fixed for the index controllers. Yeah, that's actually helped a lot. Right now I'm using the Quest 3 though, so it's just virtual desktop and Quest 3, so it's nothing exotic, except the virtual desktop thing. But yeah. Thank you.
It couldn't hurt to grab a log from it as well. I mean, something else that could cause stuttering or a lower frame rate is if something's going crazy and just spewing out like mad to the logs,
Yeah,
right? That
here
could
is
be
in
another.
frame rate is 90. Like I have frame rate, I have everything. It's just that stuttering, which is definitely not from the CPU or GPU. It's just some incompatibility or something. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I should note we are 26 minutes into the next event here, folks, which is supposed to be in a different world entirely. But we're freeballing it at this point, so that's fine. But one thing I can tell you on that, Tokra, is that with the new SDK that we've been testing over the last little while, the first time I managed to get it working properly on Android, it shit the bed, and I freaked out because I didn't know what the hell was going to go on. I thought performance was out the window. It turns out it was just something simple. I had a few runaway loops, and I needed to ease them off a bit. And my CTO was kind enough to jump in and help unblock me a little. But what we actually discovered was once we did that, the overall performance of Banter is better. It's better in a tangible way that you can measure. We've seen higher frame rates using the new SDK compared to the last, but it's also in some ways that are a little bit harder to measure, like things like micro stutters, things that you can't see in a graph because they're happening within a couple of milliseconds, right? So they're really difficult. And honestly, first time I went in, I was like, holy hell, I thought these problems were because, you know, bugs and Unity physics and rigid bodies and them not liking each other and, you know, bounce thresholds and things just being a bit bumpy when you move around. Turns out I was daft, and that wasn't the case at all. And with the new SDK, hopefully we're going to get a free performance boost out of that, right? Which probably, it sounds like, isn't the cause of your problem, right? Because typically Banter has been known to run pretty well on PC. So in your case, it is probably something simpler. Yeah. But yeah,
it actually runs so well. Like everything is like low. CPU, GPU frame time is like green. Everything's green. So yeah, it's
Sounds
not
like
bad.
networking.
Must be something simple.
It's not networking. No, it's not networking.
That's usually
I also
like you
6
say,
gigahertz, and it's like perfect. So
yeah, and other apps work, right?
Whenever you open your menu, like you know, Steam via Steam menu, and even if I look at Banter through the Steam menu, right, that doesn't stutter. It's just the 3D like rendering that stutters. And as I said, yeah, it might be a virtual desktop thing, but still, it's maybe something to look into. Thank you very much.
You know, it could be tracking related, right? That's often one that you wouldn't realize. If your tracking is for some you know, if it's mistimed and misfiring, that can actually feel like a stutter in the graphics, but it's actually your own tracking that's out of whack, right? And you know, sometimes you can even see other people sort of lagging, and it can make you feel like you're lagging a little bit just because you're seeing things jump around.
Could be.
But we can
also overlays are not stuttering, so
yes,
I don't know. That's also tracking when you move your head, and the overlays stay fixed.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, let's follow up after this, right? There's a number of things. Virtual Desktop has its own OpenXR backend. There's a bunch of Steam plugins on Startup that we could have an experiment with to turn them on and off and see if that fixes anything. There's lots of things I'm sure we can play with and try and narrow that down, and hopefully fix it for some others along the way as well. But I'm waffling. What a perfect time to plug our Tech Waffle event. We have it every Saturday. Just come up and listen to me waffle about all sorts of nonsense, right? I'm from Ireland. In Ireland, they have a thing called the gift of the gab, which basically means you could just talk. You could just talk for the country. You could just talk all the time. You could just talk till the end of the week. the end of the month,
Big Up Island.
the end of the year. I don't know. I could just waffle, right? That's what it's called. It's waffle. Come to our tech waffle. We're maybe going to start a series of waffle events where we waffle on about different topics, right? Happy was here. She likes to talk about quantum physics. Super topic. Love to waffle about that. I'm sure a lot of people do. Zeffy and me, if I can get him to do it, we might experiment with talking about, you know, cannabis and marijuana in our modern society and how that's all coming together, right?
It's
So
medicine. It's medicine.
yeah, it's medicine. Go ahead, Zeffy. I'll just go ahead. You want to free ball it? I've megaphoned you. You want to come up on stage? Come on, boy. Let's go. Tell all the people. Say something
Hello.
mad.
I'm the weed
That'll do.
sponge.
Perfect.
There you go. Maybe I want to make an avatar. It's gonna look like a weed sponge because I literally love to just listen to everybody, and I'm learning so much and in a fast time, and it's very you know, I might be overwhelmed, but I'm trying to keep it cool.
That's nice.
With the weed, keep it chill.
That's awesome. Keep it chill.
And
I like it.
You know, you smoke some more if you get too much, too hyper.
Just smoke some
It does
more.
help.
That's what you do, right? That's the
Just
solution.
smoke
If you
some
feel like you've
more.
had too much, just have some more. That's actually the cure, right? That's how. It
But
works.
actually,
That's how they do
I've
it,
loved
right?
this. This has been so awesome to meet so many people from different countries, and it's like instantaneously like just so many people have helped me out and been so nice. Everybody's awesome. Thank you guys for just being here. And
If you want to talk.
I know, like I'm just being here. Yeah, and
Awesome.
I would like to be here. But I'd love to
Well,
be here.
we appreciate you, Zeffy. Thank you.
Thank you. I get nervous, so my heart's beating fast. So
You're doing perfect. You're doing just fine. Honestly, Zeffy,
you.
go ahead. You're doing great.
Hi.
And show of hands, who knows what the hell a weed sponge is? Am I right?
Weed sponge?
Yeah.
I don't know. I made it up. I'm just like a weed sponge.
Yeah.
I take in the information and I smoke, but then I forget it. That's a weed sponge. I forget it, and then
okay.
I soak it in and in and out. A weed sponge.
See.
I don't know. I
Right.
made it up because I'm high.
Oh, I was.
See.
Thanks for
I thought it
thanks
was
for having me
for
again.
dabbing.
Hi, me again.
Oh my god.
All right.
Uh,
I love it. Thanks, Shing Shing. Thanks, Shing Shing.
Nice.
Shing.
Thank you, Zeffy.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, technically we've overlapped our Space Makers event, which I guess we'll cancel. I hope there's nobody over there. Oh, there's one person over there. Yeah.
I'm not actually there. I'm not there. I've got my
Oh, no.
2D went ahead in case anybody showed up.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Triffid.
that's
It's
awesome.
got our back. Brilliant.
I was inviting you. Now I know why.
Yeah. Well, instead of I think we've had a couple of questions about it, right? But I'll just say that typically we have an event about making spaces once a week. 30 minutes usually happens about 30 minutes ago, and yeah, typically we'll just talk about anything. But honestly, these two events, they one was born from the other, really, just because we typically just end up talking about anything and everything, and then the Tech Waffle event also came from this as well, because we kind of went off on crazy tangents. But yeah, listen, guys, I really appreciate you all coming here. We do this once a week, every week. We are constantly giving away prizes, right? That's something we're obviously doing right now to try and spread awareness, get people interested in banter. We've just given away 2 Quest 3s today. We have another one coming within another couple of days, right? So there's another Quest 3 giveaway coming. Keep yourself ready for that. Keep an ear to the ground on our Discord, which is where you're going to hear about that. Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, Tony, are you... have you got a question? Would you like to ask a question? I just noticed you were lined up there.
I could do. Yeah, I could do. I was just observing. So I'm coming into this space of banter as an event planner for hire, and I guess one of my questions would be, before we even talk about events, it would be spaces, right? Worlds. You need spaces to do events in. The question might have been asked earlier. I was kind of in and out, but what is the sort of rules around ownership of worlds? Who owns the worlds once they're put into banter?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess you own the world, right? The creator of the world, typically. I think on Banter, that's probably more valid than in most cases, because if you want, you have the power to host the world yourself, which means you can put the world on your own servers, literally have full access control over the world and who can get into it, right? So I think it's safe to say that given that's the model that we're going for, and that we like to think of Banter as kind of like a browser, then all of the spaces are websites, like they are websites on the internet, and
That makes
it's a broad
sense.
spectrum of ownership.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of event spaces, is anybody able to throw an event in any space? For example, if I was to bring in a world, that world would be mine, but would anybody in the community be able to throw an event in that space, or would it just be limited to myself and anyone else who has access to it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in the next, maybe the next iteration of our menu overhaul, which will hopefully be a much quicker one, we plan to expand on this whole access control and spaces and creating private lobbies and, you know, inviting friends and Friends Plus and all of that kind of stuff. But as it stands right now, basically all that you need to do is to get your space featured in order to be able to run events in it. We are in the process of rolling out a user controlled event system, let's say, where you can create and manage all of your own events. But we're also working closely with our current event hosts and trying to kind of bridge the gap of us transitioning over into this process. So right now, the process, and maybe Faye, you can speak to this a little bit as well, but right now the process really involves, you know, just talking to us. We're all kind of we're all a family still at this point, right? We're all pretty closely connected together. You can chat with us on the Discord anytime you want. I think for us, really, right now, you know, we're just trying to find a way to find space in the events schedule to give people a good time that they're going to get good attendance. We're planning on putting some welly behind it ourselves as well, with a number of targeted marketing campaigns trying to drive traffic directly at events in Banter. So there's a bunch of different things that kind of want to do there to support and help and you know, really foster a healthy event ecosystem there, right? But I mean, in general, sorry, Faye, maybe you can speak to that. That's your domain.
Pretty much everything you're saying. We have about 75 weekly events that are on the calendar now, and we just manage it as far as making sure that everybody has a nice space that's for themselves. So just contact me and we can get anything set up that you want. And like Shane said, we're going to be interfacing. We're going to
Hello,
be
my name is Andrian.
providing the
When Carl
interface
Sagan,
for
Steven Soder,
creating
and I
events
wrote the
yourselves.
Cosmos television series in the late
Yeah.
1970s,
So
a lot
in
of things were
terms of
different.
the
Back then, the United States and the
I think
Soviet
there's, like,
Union held the
different
whole
audio.
planet in a perpetual hostage crisis called the Cold War. The wealth and scientific ingenuity of our civilization
Sagan.
was being squandered on a
wife.
runaway arms race that employed more than half the world's scientists.
Eamon, can you
Okay,
click
this is
play now on
this
my
is officially a Carl
26,000
Sagan event.
hours of
nuclear
silence?
So much has happened since then. The Cold War is history.
It keeps going.
There we go.
There we
Lovely.
go.
Much better.
Beautiful.
That was interesting. that was
There's nothing
interesting.
like a bit of technical difficulty.
unique.
I was like clutching onto my train of thought, you know, just clutching onto the train of thought there. That was fun. That was fun. I like it. Curveballs. So I guess my next question would be, if there's a world that I have uploaded into Banter, of course that will be available for the whole community to enjoy as a world space. But when it comes to events, would I be the only one that would be able to set up an event for that space, or is that space then available for anybody who uses Banter to set up an event and use that space for their own event?
So right now, as it stands, the way things are working, you would be the only one that would be able to run events in that space.
Okay. I guess that's good
As
for
it
some
stands,
spaces.
We're still sort of working things out, and you can kind of obviously collaborate with people, right? There's a whole spaces system on the SideQuest website where you can join a space, you can have multiple moderators of a space. Moderators then get power in the space, they can kick and ban people. They
Yeah.
can, make other people moderators potentially, and they can also manage events and potentially run events on your behalf too.
Mhm.
So there's definitely ways to kind of collaborate with people and come together. But right now
Okay.
it's kind of controlled in that sense. And like I say, we're still learning, we're still figuring out how this is going to evolve, and I'm sure things are going to change for sure. But right now, your space needs to be featured in order for it to show up in the menu in Banter. And if you want
Okay.
to have a featured event, it must be in your featured space, right? So that's kind of how things are working right now. And yeah,
Mhm.
if that changes, we'll be sure to let you know. But that seems to be the most logical thing right now, and that means that only you would be able to run events officially, featured events in your space.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That's good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to bringing a space that's seen a lot of success in Horizon. I initially came up with the idea for it in Altspace, and we never published the world. Just didn't get the aesthetic right. But then in Horizon, we did. But we built it with other platforms in mind, pushing the boundaries of what's available in there. And so we're about to launch that world in VR chat, then spatial, then pretty much any app that we can get into.
Gotcha.
So it's called the Billionaire Club, and it's a luxury cigar lounge. So naturally, it's a 18 plus world, with the kind of production that goes on in there. One of the last events we held was the breast cancer awareness fundraiser, and in about 90 minutes we raised just over $500 and donated it to the American Cancer Society. So that's the kind of events that I'm trying to sort of bring when it comes to the Billionaire Club. But when it comes to the events brand itself, of stock approved, that's all about having fun, having I get a lot of volume at my events, so that's what I want to kind of bring to Banter as well. A lot of volume, a lot of people around the metaverse haven't been in here yet, speaking to them outside in other apps, and I think they would really like it if they do come in, because I've been in now for just under a week, and I'm getting used to the menu already. I mean, I'm an ex-alt spacer, right? So naturally, like seeing an events calendar, like that was the cherry for me, you know. But I'm just looking forward to it. This is good stuff. Well done to you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, definitely
Awesome.
excited for the future. Sounds great. And yeah, I mean, we take the same approach. I'll be honest with you. I mean, there's a lot of different things out there in terms of what people want to do and what their agendas are, what's driving their decision making, whether it's $1 billion valuation or an IPO or something like that, or wanting to be the nanny state like Horizon Worlds is a little bit in terms of controlling what you're doing and watching everybody and all that kind of stuff. But what we want to do really is just have fun, right? And honestly,
Right.
every world that we've built in here has been about us just sort of exploring that path ourselves and literally, dogfooding,
Yeah.
enjoying it, having fun with it, trying to make cool stuff with it. And my history has always been about trying to enable people to create that, building tools and yeah. So yeah, I mean, if that's the sort of thing you're up for, right? We definitely want that to happen. We want people to have fun. We want people to feel included, and yeah, I mean, and that's it, right? And we can all just have a laugh, and yeah, that's it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Well, thank you, Tony. Yeah, well, that's us
You're welcome.
officially 43 minutes over the event end. I think we can call that for Shoseki. Thank you, Shoseki. That's 43 minutes over. I don't even know if he's still here. He's probably not. He's given up long ago. Yeah, we do live stream a lot of these events. Usually you'll see a notice board in the event to say this event has been live streamed. At some point, we might tell you to just turn and wave to the audience at home, folks. There's millions of people at home all watching us live right now. It's hilarious. Maybe one or two checked in on the stream, right? So, yeah, okay.
I've
Well,
been
look,
told
guys.
we have 5 people watching the stream right now. Hello.
Wow. It's a big
Raise the roof.
Except that I'm one of them.
Mama, I made it.
Hello, 4 people.
That's great. Oh no.
Hey, that's 4 more people than 0
up?
people.
Before we end, real quick, Glubo has been waiting. Like they keep getting skipped over and over. Is it possible we could get Glubo's question? I hate
Sure.
to.
My bad. My bad. Yes. Go right ahead, Glubo.
Oh, hi. My name is Mr. Glubo. Don't let that body scare you. I like to wear what I like to wear inside. Um, my question was, if there was going to be hand tracking anytime in the future, would you be able to make the what do you call it? Make a hand for the rope. I forgot how to do it. There it is. The rope, and the rope will be like the Spider-Man hand thingy.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good question. Yeah, I actually built a game before called Blanket Works, which is where you could build like blanket forts and pillow forts in VR, right? It was just if you ever remember the early versions of Banter, we had that song in the lobby. It was Claire de Lune, you know that classic song, but it was just that you were in a house, you had that playing, you could just sit there and make a blanket fort out of everything. But to get to your point, we actually used a Spider-Man mechanic there for teleporting because it supported hand tracking. It was just when hand tracking was becoming a thing. So yeah, I mean, I think we have to walk this path, right? Apple Vision Pro, Quest 3 Lite. There's going to be a lot of headsets that are going to come out in the next couple of years that are going to focus on controllerless. So coming up with something to allow that kind of stuff with hands only is yeah, something I'm excited to take on.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It actually works in virtual desktop. You can use hand tracking. You can use the ropes as well with the gesture.
That's right. That's right.
Damn.
That's
Virtual
right.
desktop actually allows
If
you
you
to
haven't
do
tried, try it.
unofficial body tracking too.
That's also right. Yes. Virtual desktop is kind of an enigma, really. Guy Godden always continues to innovate. I think he's a good friend of mine. You know, we've been on this journey kind of together. I think since the start of the modern VR, the most modern VR industry, when standalone really kicked off. And yeah, I think he does an amazing job. And I think what's really exciting is about how his community is now erupting into this ecosystem of plugins and mods for virtual desktop, right? That's where we're getting Quest 3 body tracking from the community, right? It's not even from him himself. So virtual desktop is an enigma. It's gonna they set the stage and set the standard really for everybody else to kind of aim for, I think. And all of these new devices are probably going to have him to thank when it comes to being able to access, massive amounts of content that they otherwise wouldn't. But yeah, virtual desktop, really cool. Love it. No notes. Except for whatever's going on with Tokra. Need to figure that out. But yeah, okay. Well, look, guys, that's all I've got. We have an event that is starting in 12 minutes, which is our weekly banter highlights with Eamon and Jem and Helen, right? So they go through loads of stuff, show you loads of pictures. I'm sure there's loads of cool stuff from the courtroom, from